Here's something most people never grasp about human connection. Your presence speaks volumes before you utter a single word. The majority of individuals believe that constant conversation, clever remarks, and impressive stories will secure them a place in someone's memory. Yet these verbal efforts often disappear like morning mist. Genuine magnetic presence doesn't arise from performance or validation seeking. It emerges from centered awareness, authentic energy, and the natural gravitational pull that exists when you're deeply grounded in yourself. Picture this. You walk into any environment and others sense your self-assured composure. You're broadcasting in a frequency that transcends language. This isn't about strategic manipulation or calculated moves. It's about cultivating the internal state that naturally creates compelling presence around you. Our culture is saturated with people attempting to manufacture charisma. They memorize techniques, practice routines, and study behavioral formulas as though preparing for a performance exam. However, manufactured charisma is transparent and easily detected. The instant someone perceives you're performing, genuine connection dissolves. Authentic magnetism flows naturally when your internal confidence aligns seamlessly with your external expression. Here lies the central paradox. The moment you release the need to impress others, you become inherently impressive. The science of nonverbal influence. Develop your observational intelligence. Study how individuals respond when you're fully present in the moment. Notice the quality of engagement in their eyes when you practice deep listening. Observe the subtle postural shifts when they experience psychological safety. Recognize the energetic changes as you communicate with deliberate intention rather than nervous filler. Most people struggle with authentic connection because their attention fixates on rehearsing their next statement instead of genuinely receiving what's being shared. They overclarify, constantly seek validation, and eliminate every moment of silence with anxious chatter. Through these patterns, they systematically dismantle the natural rhythm that enables real connection to flourish. Yet meaningful human bonds thrive in authentic presence, never in performance. They develop in the dynamic balance between speaking your truth and holding space for others. In creating environments where silence feels comfortable rather than awkward. Each moment you practice genuine listening, you generate tremendous value. Each instance you demonstrate comfort with quietness, you reveal authentic confidence. Throughout this comprehensive guide, we'll examine how centered presence, genuine authenticity, and emotional intelligence establish the bedrock for creating memorable impact in all your interactions. Principle 1. Cultivate intellectual curiosity and depth. The architecture of memorable conversation. The initial foundation for creating lasting impressions involves engaging people's minds through substantial depth and genuine interest. Most daily conversations remain trapped at surface level, predictable topics that never venture into meaningful territory. These interactions are unmemorable, forgettable, and create zero lasting impact. Substantive dialogue flourishes through authentic curiosity, through questions that stimulate reflection, through observations that demonstrate you perceive reality through a unique lens. The human nervous system is neurologically wired to engage with novelty and genuine interest. When you consistently bring authentic depth to your communications, people naturally desire continued engagement with you. The foundation rests on sincere interest. Pose thoughtful questions and generate observations that reveal you're genuinely tracking the conversation. Express perspectives that originate from your own experience and thinking, never borrowed from external sources or social scripts. This approach creates conversations that people mentally revisit days and weeks later. Engineering questions that penetrate surface reality. Rather than defaulting to conventional small talk, explore questions such as, what's a perspective you hold that would challenge most people's assumptions? Then, practice active listening. Genuinely receive their response. Resist interrupting or immediately broadcasting your own viewpoint. Create spaciousness for them to process and articulate their authentic thoughts. Observe their engagement intensify, notice the subtle forward lean, hear the increased energy in their vocal tone, witness how they open up when experiencing true receptivity. Authentic curiosity catalyzes deeper communication. When individuals sense your genuine interest in their unique perspective, they naturally invest emotionally in the exchange. Weave thoughtful questions throughout your interactions, subtle invitations to depth that distinguish you from the surface-level majority they typically encounter. Microcalibration. Mastering the subtle details. To forge meaningful connections, integrate thoughtful inquiry with precise observation. The potency isn't merely in your questions, it's in demonstrating that you recognize what others consistently overlook. This demands genuine attention, never performative focus. When someone becomes animated discussing a specific subject, encode that information and reference it naturally in future interactions. When they demonstrate discomfort around certain topics, honor that boundary without drawing attention to it. When their energy noticeably shifts, acknowledge it naturally and appropriately. Eye contact should convey warmth and full presence, not intense staring, but genuine engagement that communicates, "I'm completely here with you right now." Even micro-gestures carry significant weight. Leaning in slightly when they share something vulnerable, nodding to signal understanding, creating conversational space for complete self-expression. Never verbally analyze these dynamics or explicitly point them out. Simply remain authentically present. By the conversation's conclusion, they'll experience being heard in a way that's remarkably rare, and that emotional experience will remain with them long after you've parted. Principle 2. Express your authentic complexity. Generating interest through genuine self-disclosure. After establishing genuine curiosity, the subsequent step involves revealing your own authentic complexity. Meaningful connections deepen when people feel they're discovering someone real and multifaceted, never a carefully curated social persona. Most individuals present a simplified version of themselves, amplifying their achievements, concealing their struggles, performing confidence they haven't genuinely internalized. However, authentic connection requires genuine self-disclosure. The interplay between your confidence and appropriate vulnerability, your developed strengths and acknowledged growth edges. Before sharing deeper reflections, anchor yourself completely in the present moment. Maintain genuine interest in your conversation partner. This isn't about psychological analysis, it's about being fully available to the moment. Then share observations drawn from your lived experience. I've observed that people typically present their most polished persona in social situations, yet the authentic individual behind that mask is invariably more compelling than any highlight reel. This caliber of authentic observation generates depth because it reflects honesty and universal relatability. You're not pretending to possess all answers, you're acknowledging the shared human experience we all navigate. Recognizing our shared human experience, most people default to surface-level optimism: everything's perfect, life is flawless. Yet genuine connection emerges when we acknowledge reality. Life contains inherent complexity, everyone experiences challenges, personal growth remains perpetually ongoing. When you share authentic experiences, not to complain, but simply as truthful reflection, you create permission space for real conversation. You're modeling that vulnerability doesn't equal weakness, it represents honesty and emotional courage. Consider observations like, "I previously believed success meant maintaining perfect composure constantly. Now I understand it's more about practicing honesty when situations become messy." Or, "The most fascinating individuals I've encountered aren't those with flawless lives, they're the ones courageously practicing authenticity." These observations resonate because they're specific, honest, and, critically, genuinely reflect your own lived experience. They demonstrate you're comfortable navigating complexity, both within yourself and when witnessing it in others. Integrating confidence with genuine humility. Authenticity deepens significantly when you can authentically own both your developed strengths and your continuing growth areas. In conversation, you might share, "I've developed strong capacity for understanding diverse perspectives. Where I'm actively developing is translating that understanding into consistent action." This quality of honest self-awareness generates magnetic presence because it's remarkably uncommon. You possess sufficient confidence to acknowledge your strengths and adequate humility to recognize where you're still evolving. Principle 3. Establish psychological safety through consistent presence. Transcending surface-level interaction. After demonstrating curiosity and authenticity, the next phase involves creating the psychological safety where genuine connection can organically emerge, not through verbal promises or reassurances, but through consistent presence and authentic empathy. Most human interactions never penetrate beyond superficial layers because people don't experience sufficient safety to risk authenticity. They carry concerns about judgment, potential misunderstanding, or having their words weaponized against them. This is precisely where most people fail at creating meaningful connection. They confuse information exchange with intimacy, confuse conversation with genuine understanding. Authentic connection materializes when someone experiences safety being themselves completely. When they can share without fear of judgment or rejection. When listening takes precedence over formulating responses. Questions that invite genuine self-expression. Create space for authentic sharing through questions that invite deeper reflection. What aspect of your life would genuinely surprise people who believe they understand you? What version of yourself are you actively working to become that hasn't fully emerged yet? If you could shift one thing about how others perceive you, what would that be? Which part of your daily experience feels most aligned with your authentic self? These aren't interrogations, they're thoughtful invitations. The critical element is your response after asking. Practice complete listening. Resist rushing to fill natural pauses or immediately relating everything back to your parallel experience. Then, this proves crucial, provide them genuine spaciousness. Their hesitation, their thoughtful pauses, their search for precise language, these signals indicate they're accessing authenticity. Honor and respect that vulnerable process. The transformative power of non-judgmental witnessing. When someone shares something genuinely personal, resist the reflexive urge to immediately problem solve, offer unsolicited advice, or redirect to your similar experience. Simply remain present with what they've courageously shared. Hold compassionate space for their experience without attempting to modify or fix it. This quality of listening is extraordinarily rare. Most people listen with hidden agendas, waiting for their speaking turn, mentally formulating advice, judging whether the experience validates their own worldview. However, when you simply witness without judgment, something transformative occurs. Trust develops organically and naturally. That earned trust creates exponentially deeper connection. They experience safety revealing themselves in ways they typically can't with most people in their life. You might respond with something like, "That resonates deeply. Thank you for trusting me with that." This validation, not of specific choices, but of their experience being inherently valid, forges connection that transcends conventional interaction. You're not attempting to change them. You're practicing radical acceptance of who they authentically are. The most fascinating individuals I've encountered aren't those with flawless lives, they're the ones courageously practicing authenticity. These observations resonate because they're specific, honest, and, critically, genuinely reflect your own lived experience. They demonstrate you're comfortable navigating complexity, both within yourself and when witnessing it in others. Integrating confidence with genuine humility. Authenticity deepens significantly when you can authentically own both your developed strengths and your continuing growth areas. In conversation, you might share, "I've developed strong capacity for understanding diverse perspectives. Where I'm actively developing is translating that understanding into consistent action." This quality of honest self-awareness generates magnetic presence because it's remarkably uncommon. You possess sufficient confidence to acknowledge your strengths and adequate humility to recognize where you're still evolving. Principle 3. Establish psychological safety through consistent presence. Transcending surface-level interaction. After demonstrating curiosity and authenticity, the next phase involves creating the psychological safety where genuine connection can organically emerge, not through verbal promises or reassurances, but through consistent presence and authentic empathy. Most human interactions never penetrate beyond superficial layers because people don't experience sufficient safety to risk authenticity. They carry concerns about judgment, potential misunderstanding, or having their words weaponized against them. This is precisely where most people fail at creating meaningful connection. They confuse information exchange with intimacy, confuse conversation with genuine understanding. Authentic connection materializes when someone experiences safety being themselves completely. When they can share without fear of judgment or rejection. When listening takes precedence over formulating responses. Questions that invite genuine self-expression. Create space for authentic sharing through questions that invite deeper reflection. What aspect of your life would genuinely surprise people who believe they understand you? What version of yourself are you actively working to become that hasn't fully emerged yet? If you could shift one thing about how others perceive you, what would that be? Which part of your daily experience feels most aligned with your authentic self? These aren't interrogations, they're thoughtful invitations. The critical element is your response after asking. Practice complete listening. Resist rushing to fill natural pauses or immediately relating everything back to your parallel experience. Then, this proves crucial, provide them genuine spaciousness. Their hesitation, their thoughtful pauses, their search for precise language, these signals indicate they're accessing authenticity. Honor and respect that vulnerable process. The transformative power of non-judgmental witnessing. When someone shares something genuinely personal, resist the reflexive urge to immediately problem solve, offer unsolicited advice, or redirect to your similar experience. Simply remain present with what they've courageously shared. Hold compassionate space for their experience without attempting to modify or fix it. This quality of listening is extraordinarily rare. Most people listen with hidden agendas, waiting for their speaking turn, mentally formulating advice, judging whether the experience validates their own worldview. However, when you simply witness without judgment, something transformative occurs. Trust develops organically and naturally. That earned trust creates exponentially deeper connection. They experience safety revealing themselves in ways they typically can't with most people in their life. You might respond with something like, "That resonates deeply. Thank you for trusting me with that." This validation, not of specific choices, but of their experience being inherently valid, forges connection that transcends conventional interaction. You're not attempting to change them. You're practicing radical acceptance of who they authentically are. Principle 4. Maintain your emotional center. The foundation of emotional independence. As genuine connection naturally develops, maintaining your own center becomes paramount. This isn't about emotional distance, it's about possessing a solid sense of self that doesn't require constant validation or external approval. Most people become emotionally dependent once connection forms. They constantly seek reassurance, over-communicate, or lose themselves completely in efforts to maintain the other person's interest. However, healthy connection requires two emotionally complete individuals choosing to share space together. Offer people your complete presence during shared time, while simultaneously maintaining your own life, interests, and emotional center during separation. This creates natural, healthy rhythm rather than psychological codependence. Communicating healthy boundaries. Express your needs with clarity and respect. I genuinely value our conversations. I also recognize I do my clearest thinking when I have solitude to process experiences. This caliber of honest boundary setting proves attractive because it reflects emotional maturity. You're not playing psychological games or manufacturing artificial distance. You're being transparent about what you require to show up as your best self. Additional approaches for maintaining healthy boundaries. I prefer quality presence together over constant digital communication throughout the day. I've noticed I'm most present when I'm not fragmenting my attention across excessive commitments. I value substantive conversation significantly more than surface-level status updates. Each statement reflects honesty and groundedness. You're not imposing rules on the other person, you're transparently sharing your own preferences and authentic needs. Balancing engagement with independence. This isn't about being emotionally unavailable or creating artificial scarcity. It's about maintaining the fullness of your individual life while creating genuine space for connection. Following meaningful shared time, return to your personal interests, goals, and ongoing personal development. This rhythm, engagement followed by healthy independence, maintains connection vitality because both individuals preserve their distinct identity while consciously choosing to share experiences together. Principle 5. Master conversational rhythm and energy. Understanding natural communication flow. Once genuine connection has organically developed, the next mastery level involves understanding natural rhythm in all communication, the organic flow between substantive conversation and lighthearted moments, between intensity and ease, between vulnerable sharing and curious listening. Rhythm represents a fundamental aspect of all human interaction. We neurologically respond to natural patterns, to the organic ebb and flow of interpersonal energy. When you develop rhythmic intelligence, you consistently create comfortable, engaging experiences for everyone involved. Vary your communication style organically. Engage in deep conversations, then naturally lighten the emotional tone. Share something vulnerable, then redirect attention to inquire about their experience. Create moments of focused intensity, followed by comfortable ease and relaxation. The natural architecture of engaging dialogue. Example of natural conversational rhythm. I've been contemplating what genuine success actually means recently. Substantive topic exploration, following discussion. By the way, tell me more about that project you mentioned last time. How's that developing? Natural shift to their current experience. This oscillation establishes natural flow. You're not maintaining constant emotional intensity or remaining perpetually at surface level. You're allowing conversation to breathe organically, to move fluidly between different emotional registers naturally. Calibrating to natural energy states. Develop awareness of energy levels throughout conversation. When someone appears fatigued, honor that state and keep interaction lighter. When they're energized and engaged, naturally match that enthusiasm. When they need to process something difficult, create space for that without immediately attempting to solve everything. This attunement isn't manipulation, it's practiced empathy. You're responding authentically to what the situation naturally calls for rather than imposing a predetermined agenda regardless of context. Principle 6. Honor the transformative power of space. Allowing connection to breathe naturally. Everything converges to this essential principle. Space isn't absence or abandonment, it's consciously allowing connection to exist without requiring constant contact. Following meaningful shared time, provide both yourself and others necessary room to integrate, reflect, and maintain independent lives. People genuinely value what has space to breathe naturally. Constant availability can paradoxically diminish connection quality because it eliminates the natural rhythm of togetherness and healthy separation. Strategic space creates room for appreciation to organically grow and deepen. This isn't psychological game playing. It's recognizing that healthy relationships of any nature require both people to maintain their distinct identity, personal interests, and rich inner life. The integration period's value. Following deep conversation or meaningful shared experience, consciously allow space for psychological integration. I genuinely enjoyed our conversation today. It provided substantial material for reflection. Then actually honor yourself with time to genuinely reflect. Don't reflexively reach out again immediately. Process what was shared. Reflect on the connection's quality. Allow the experience to settle and integrate naturally. This space isn't empty or meaningless. It's precisely when everything you experienced together takes deeper root in consciousness. The time between interactions allows both individuals to appreciate what transpired and naturally anticipate the next quality connection. Advanced principles for creating lasting connection. The strategic application of appropriate vulnerability. There exists a crucial balance between genuine authenticity and inappropriate oversharing. Meaningful connection requires being real, yet that doesn't mean immediately dumping every thought or personal struggle onto others. Share from a foundation of strength, never from neediness or desperation. When you reveal something authentic, not to extract sympathy or rescue, but simply as honest sharing, you generate genuine depth. I've discovered that I require substantial solitude to recharge my nervous system. It required years to accept that about myself without judgment. I'm actively working on balancing healthy ambition with present contentment. It remains an ongoing developmental process. These statements reflect authenticity while remaining grounded. They reveal genuine complexity without demanding the other person fix or resolve anything. The practice of deep empathy. Strong connections naturally develop when we can genuinely perceive and appreciate diverse perspectives. If someone operates primarily through analytical thinking, appreciate their systematic approach to understanding. If someone embodies spontaneity, value their capacity to remain present in the moment. This doesn't require abandoning who you are. It means recognizing that diverse approaches to life are valid and genuinely interesting. We all possess different strengths, and authentic connection emerges from appreciating those differences rather than attempting to make everyone mirror our own thinking. Adopting the long-term perspective. Everything described here functions optimally when you're genuinely focused on authentic connection rather than specific outcomes. Desperation emanates an energy that naturally repels people. However, when you're genuinely interested in others while feeling emotionally complete in yourself, you radiate a distinctly different presence. This represents the ultimate truth. When you release the need for external approval and connection to feel inherently valuable, you become naturally magnetic. When your self-worth originates from internal sources, people intuitively sense it. They're drawn toward it because self-assured presence is remarkably rare in our culture. Integration, becoming genuinely unforgettable. Memorable presence has never originated from techniques or tactical approaches. It emerges from developed authenticity, the genuineness of your interest in understanding others, the depth of your self-awareness and emotional intelligence, the natural calm that emerges from knowing yourself deeply. When people experience your authentic presence, when they recall conversations with you as distinctly different from typical interactions, when they feel genuinely heard and truly seen, you've created something genuinely meaningful and rare. People aren't fantasizing about encountering perfection. They're magnetically drawn to authenticity, psychological depth, genuine curiosity, emotional intelligence. To someone who embodies comfort in their own skin, who perceives them clearly without judgment, who remains naturally grounded while others are performing socially. Become that caliber of person. Practice deep listening. Observe with genuine interest. Create natural rhythm. Maintain your emotional center. And allow authentic connection to develop organically and naturally. This isn't manipulation, it's mastery of your internal state first, which naturally extends to how you relate authentically with others. The principles described throughout this guide function effectively because they're rooted in psychological truth. People deeply crave authenticity, substantive depth, genuine presence, and relationships where both individuals maintain their distinct identity while consciously choosing to connect meaningfully. However, beyond any technique lies something significantly deeper: genuine development of your character and emotional intelligence. The most naturally magnetic people aren't performing magnetism. They simply embody magnetic presence because they've cultivated psychological depth, authentic presence, and genuine confidence through years of inner work. So while you practice these foundational principles, cultivating curiosity, embracing complexity, building psychological safety, maintaining independence, understanding natural rhythm, and honoring necessary space, remember that they're all expressions of a deeper fundamental truth: you are inherently enough. Your presence, when genuinely developed through consistent inner work, is sufficient. Everything else simply allows that truth to express itself naturally and authentically. The transformation from forgettable to genuinely memorable isn't about accumulating techniques. It's about systematically removing everything inauthentic until only your essential self remains fully expressed. And that essential self, when properly developed and authentically expressed, naturally generates meaningful connection wherever you go. Final reminder: these principles function only when built upon genuine respect, emotional maturity, and authentic character development. Apply them to become a more developed human being who naturally creates meaningful connections, never to manipulate or control others. Always prioritize enthusiastic consent, honor personal boundaries, and treat every individual with the fundamental dignity they deserve.